If you don't feel good about yourself, how can you reflect and manifest the goodness of God in your environment and amongst the people around you, even in your career? How can you? When the pressures of life confront you and seem to push you back, when challenges stand against you, when your mindset seems not to know what to do concerning its current setting, you've got to remind yourself of this fact, that you have the mind of Christ, especially because you are a child of God. You have the mind of Christ. You have been accepted in the Lord. You have been empowered. Your mindset is empowered, energized for creativity. At such moments, I pause and make declarations like this. You want to make this declaration with me? Say, I have an empowered mindset. I am invigorated for exploits. I am rejuvenated for uncommon advancement. I am inspired to accomplish mighty things under the tutelage of God. Hello everybody, welcome to Advancement Strategies, where your inspiration remains our watchword. I'm your host, Dr. Iyke Nwambie, cheerleader of success, advancement, and leadership. And today I'm going to be sharing some 5 random thoughts, not in a particular order or sequence, but random thoughts that I have called 5 golden thoughts for a golden mindset. Are you ready for those golden thoughts that have the guarantee of giving you a golden mindset? I don't know about you, but I am really ready, because these are thoughts that I share randomly, and sometimes I just sit and think about some thoughts based on my previous teachings and previous write-ups, and they infuse and inspire me. I want to share 5 of those with you today, and the first one is this one. Every assignment has a location, and every duty has a duty post. Every assignment has a location, and every duty has a duty post, yes. And that is why I asked you today, that what is your location? Doctors have their offices, surgeons have their theaters, pharmacists have their pharmacies, engineers have their factories, teachers have their classrooms, business people have their operational bases, salesmen have their sales fields. What is your own location? Don't wander around like a wandering generality, because you are bigger and better than that. Every duty has a duty post. You have a duty that you're called onto, and you have a responsibility to sit at your duty post and ensure that manifestation of great outputs begin to appear. And that is what you have to do. It is one of the golden thoughts for a golden mindset. The second thought that I want to share with us today is ability without an organized activity produces a self-induced acrimony. I said ability without an organized activity produces a self-induced acrimony. Now, what does that mean? That means that you know you are talented. If you don't know, I am telling you, because there is no such human being that is created without talents. You have a deluge of talents. Yes, you know you are talented. Yes, you know you are gifted. Yes, you know you are blessed. But do you have an organized activity around those talents, around those giftings, around those blessedness? Do you have an organized activity that you do every day, every hour, every minute, even when you are not actively putting your hand on something, but your mind is engaged in it? You are painting a picture of the future. You are imagining great things. You are visualizing and seeing a greater manifestation of greater strides along that particular area of disposition. Are you doing that? Why? Because activity, ability without an organized activity is a self-induced acrimony, but that will not be your portion. The third golden thought for a golden mindset that I want to share with us today is, don't believe your enemies, but don't ignore them. I said, don't believe your enemies, but don't also ignore them. Don't believe their words, because their words will weary you. Their words will weigh down your heart and your mind. But don't ignore them. Don't act as if they are not there. The children of Israel could not possess the land of Canaan until they had sent spies to spy out on their enemies, to know the kind of people they were, to know, to factor their thinking mechanisms, their strategies, the kind of city they dwelt in, the kind of plans there. They had to spy on them. They knew they were bigger and better than their enemies because of God who was backing them up. But they also realized that they cannot afford to ignore their enemies and the strategies of their enemies. Scripture tells us that we should be careful not to ignore the subtlety of the devil. That means you cannot afford to ignore your enemies, even though you do not believe, and you do not have to believe their words. Remember this. The biggest lie the enemy wants you to imbibe is the idea that you don't have enemies. You do have enemies. Jesus came and he did good everywhere. The Bible says he went about doing good and healing all of them who were oppressed of the devil because God was with him. Yet he had enemies. He had the Pharisees, the Sadducees, who doled and dotted every step and questioned every word he spoke, misrepresented him, asked him traffic questions to set him up. Those are the activities of enemies. Don't believe their words, but don't also ignore them, because ignoring them is taking a risk, and that is what the enemy wants you to do. Here is the fourth golden thought for today. That has a guarantee of giving you a golden mindset. If you respond to every insult, in a relationship with a counter insult, you may end up apologizing for talking too much. You may end up apologizing for talking too much. But I say that will not be your portion. This is a very handy-made advice, especially amongst couples. We have this family friend. The gentleman will tell the wife 10 things for each one word of insult the wife renders to him. And his attitude is, you give me one, I give you 10. You give me one, I give you 10. But at the end of the day, the issue that will now be on the table is not the first insult the wife gave to him, which is his usual accusation. The issue will now be the kind of things, the counter insults that he now leashed out on her. Isn't that too much? Are you supposed to say that? Are you supposed to say that? Do you realize that by saying that you're also talking to yourself? That becomes the issue. And at the end of the day, he will apologize. And that is why I say to you that don't retaliate every insult with a counter insult. If not, you might end up apologizing. For what? For talking too much. So don't talk too much, especially in a spousal relationship. The fifth, but certainly not the least, is this one. Every relationship has an emotional bank account. Time wasters drain it. Time investors drain it. Every relationship has an emotional bank account. Time wasters drain it, but time investors drain it. Emotions like joy, peace, anger, depression, elation, excitement, all of these are emotional bank accounts in every relationship, at the workplace, with your children, with your parents, even with your enemies. Learn to pursue your activity as a kingdom citizen, as an entrepreneur with a difference, as a business person with a difference, as a leader with a difference, as a student with a difference. And that will be an activated role that you begin to play in your day-to-day activity. Before I leave you today, I have a quick question for you. And that question is this. What is your role in the scheme of things? What is your role on a day-to-day basis? What is your role concerning the works of your hands? Are you a time waster or are you a time investor? I really would love to hear from you. Go ahead and type your answer and let's learn from your perspective as well. Remember to subscribe to the Advancement TV channel that I may have the singular honor and opportunity to continue to inspire and empower you with the golden truths that can carve out a golden life for you. Remember that it is too late to quit now. Keep advancing and you will not fail. I will talk to you in another video. Cheers.